What's up, everybody? It is your girl, Chiquita Ann, coming to you live from the Chiquita Ann Show. I have, of course, my lovely co-host, Miss Tasha Miggity Mac, aka Music Child, to my right. And to my left, I have my good co-host, Brother Oren, Big O 1975, both on Twitter.
Big O.
Tonight's subject is... It's a little deep. It's a little bit more serious. And I really thought we should do this because a lot of people get so many misguided information, and we need to address a lot of issues. So tonight's show topic is going to be, I'm worth the wait. Why is it so hard to wait? That goes for young men and young women. And why is there such a rush to get married and to rush into these relationships so quickly? But before we go any further, I want to show you a clip of this.
So it seemed that it was cool for everyone to be in a relationship but me. So I took matters into my own hands and ended up with him. Him who displayed the characteristics of a cheater, a liar, an abuser, and a thief. So why was I surprised when he broke into my heart? I called 911, but I was cardiac arrested for aiding and abetting because it was me who let him in, claiming we were just friends. It was already decided for me by the first date that even if he wasn't, I was gonna make him the one. You know, I was tired of being alone, and I simply made up in my mind that it was about that time, so I decided to drag him along for the ride because I was always the bridesmaid and never the bride. A virgin in the physical, but mentally just a grown woman on the corner in heat who was tired of the wait. So I was gonna make him the one. He had a form of godliness, but not much. But hey, I can change him, so I'll take him. I mean, he's close enough. Ready to sell my aorta for a quarter, not knowing the value of its use to me. Arteries so clogged with my will, it blocked his will from flowing through me. So I thank Christ that his blood pressure gave this heart an attack that flatlined my obscured vision, put me flat on my back. Through my ignorance he saw, so through my sternum he sawed and cracked open my chest to transplant Psalms 51:10. A new heart and a renewed right spirit within. So now I fully understand, better yet I thoroughly comprehend how much I need to wait for you. See, the bad thing is that I knew he was in you from the beginning. Because in the beginning was the word, and he didn't even sound or shine like your son. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, and all he could whisper was sweet, empty nothings. Which meant nothing. He couldn't even pray what I needed him to. Asking him to fast would be absurd, so forget about being cleansed and washed with water through the word. But I know you're already praying for me. Even never having met me, let me assure you I will wait for you. I will no longer date, socialize, or communicate with carbon copies of you to appease my boredom or to quench my thirsty desire for attention and short-lived compliments from sorta kindas. You know he's sorta kinda right, but sorta kinda wrong. His first name Luke, his last name Warm. I won't settle for false companionship. I won't lay in the embrace of his arms, attempting to find some closeness, but never feeling so far apart because I just want to be held. Because all I gotta do is say no. No more almost sessions of almost coming close, passing winks and buying drinks, and I'm a flirt who flirts with the ideology of, can you just tell me how much I can get away with and still be saved? No more. I'll stay in my bed, alone, and write poems about how I will wait for you. He won't even come close. Our fingers won't even interlock. We won't even exchange breath, because I have thoughts that I've saved as, and a Father God has only equipped you to open. I will no longer get weighted down from so-called friends and family talks about the concern for my biological clock when I serve the author of time. Who is not subject to time, but I'm subject to him. He has the ability to stop, fast forward, pause, or rewind at any given time. So if we could role play, you would be Abraham and I would be Sarah. Or you could be Isaac and I could be Rebecca, a servant's answered prayer. I am bone of your bone, flesh of your flesh, made up of your rib, Adam. And once we meet, like electrons, I will be bound to your nucleus, completely indivisible atom. We even speak the same math. 1 + 1 + 1 = 3, which really equals 1 if you add them. We were all created in his image, but you have the ability to reflect, project, and even detect the sun. If I were to explain what you look like, you would have to look like a star, a son of the sun. I would gain energy simply from the light that you shine on me. I would need you in order to complete my photosynthesis. I await your revelation, but once again from the Genesis, I will wait for you. And I will know you, because when you speak, I will be reminded of Solomon's wisdom. Your ability to lead will remind me of Moses. Your faith will remind me of Abraham. Your confidence in God's word will remind me of Daniel. Your inspiration will remind me of Paul. Your heart for God will remind me of David. Your attention to detail will remind me of Noah. Your integrity will remind me of Joseph. And your ability to abandon your own will remind me of the disciples. But your ability to love selflessly and unconditionally will remind me of Christ. But I won't need to identify you by any special Matthews or any special marks, because this word will be tatted all over your heart. And you will know me, and you will find me where the boldness of Esther meets the warm closeness of Ruth, where the hospitality of Lydia is aligned with the submission of Mary, which is engulfed in the tears of a praying Hannah. I will be the one drenched in Proverbs 31, waiting for you. But to my Father who has known me before I was birthed into this earth, only if you should see fit. I desire your will above mine, so even if you call me to a life of singleness, my heart is content with you, the one who has sinned. You are the greatest love story ever told, the greatest love ever known. You are forever my judge, and I'm forever your witness. And I pray that I'm always found on a mission about my Father's business. I will always be yours, and I will always wait for you, Lord, more than the watchmen wait for the morning. More than the watchmen wait for the morning, I will wait.
I tried to told y'all, give it up for genetics. Oh, yeah.
And we're back. That was a nice YouTube clip from actually my coworkers, her daughters. They go and see spoken word poetry, and she actually sent that to me and told me to check it out. So that's a group who promotes abstinence. They promote it all. They have the t-shirts for it, everything. So big ups to P4CM for that, and I think her name was Genetics. So yeah, that's a really great group that's doing some really great things. Again, as I was saying, tonight's topic is about I'm worth the wait. Why is it so hard to wait, and why so many are rushing into relationships and marriage at such a young age? Me preferably, coming from the family that I come from, it's a broken family, and the producer, actually my cameraman, said a lot of the reasons why people rush and young, especially in our African American culture, they rush because it comes from broken homes, and mama over here, daddy over here, and it's too much where people are not going back to the basics. There's no structure, there's no foundation. And I can speak personally from it because I wasn't raised by, everybody know I'm adopted. I wasn't raised by my biological mother. My great-grandparents raised me until my great-grandfather passed in May of '98. And my dad's family was in the loop. But the people who solely raised me, my grandmother Annie, my grandmother Mary, and my granddaddy Clarence. And my family, my grandmother was old. So she was like in her 60s, all in the 70s, when they got me. So it was just like, all I know was, don't bring home no babies. That was just a whole thing. Right. Don't bring home no babies. Right. It was never something that was taught, like, this is how you have to do this. This is what you do. She gave me all the get great, the latest, those spills. But it wasn't structured. It wasn't taught to me that, this is what you do. You ain't got to go looking for no man. You ain't got to go, whatever. So I think, and then getting adopted into a family that's just so open, it was hard for me to balance. It was very, very hard for me to balance. You got a dad who, he all in your business. Like, ain't nothing off limits. What you doing?
Right.
You with this person.
Right.
You with that person. Well, why you do that? Well, what? Then you got a mama who's psycho. Yeah, they passed us too. Psychotic. But it's a good psychotic. I just think a lot of people are rushing because they want to feel that love. They want that void. They want to fill a void that, people are not getting them. And as I told Oren and Natasha prior to the taping, I was younger and I used to date older guys because, my dad, my biological father was one of those. He picked me up on the weekend and dropped me off at my grandma's house, and I see him periodically throughout, the day or the weekend. But it was never that we spend that quality time. And then as I got older and some things changed with my life and the situations, headed down the line, it got really, really deep. Did I just burp? Yeah. Sorry, apologize.
Live.
I'm sorry, that was on camera too.
Live. This is real. It's real.
It is real.
Real rap roll.
I looked in the older guys. I think it was more so a parental figure. It was like, not only is that my man, but yeah, it's something that I'm feeling a void. He holds me like I think my father should hold me. Well, and I mean that may sound weird, but he holds me. I mean, he loves me. He's giving me something that I felt like I should have been given, but only it made me. If this makes sense to you, but it's just it was almost kind of like a parental thing. Like, I'm young enough to be his daughter, or old enough to be his daughter, but I'm he's my man. You get what I'm saying?
But you said something though. You said something like it might sound weird that.
My dog is yet barking again. He want in on this conversation.
So it felt weird that, it's almost like you said that he held you like your dad. If you really think about
he held
it, though,
me like he should have.
Like he should have been your dad. But if you really think about it, most little girls, if their father's around, the only touch they will know until they get of age is the touch of their father.
And that's the first relationship that a woman has with a man.
That's the first relationship. And that's why me, as having a little girl, I want to let her know up front what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. My little girl now, she's almost 6 years old. I haven't given her a bath in 2 years, because I don't want her to feel that, it's okay for, any man just to be bathing you and touching you. Once she got to know what her privates were and all that, I told my wife, I said, hey, because the same situation happened to me with my sister. Because, I'm 35 and I got a sister that's 19. So, I was giving her a bath. I was in college. This was like in 95. And I was giving her, a bath. And we was at my aunt's house, and I'll never forget it. I was giving her a bath, and I had given her a bath before, several times. But this particular time, I was bathing her, and I noticed that when she was born, she had hair everywhere. She was a real hairy type. Well, she had started growing hair in her private parts. You know how you can't tell hair is there until they get wet? And I saw that and I screamed. I was like, and so they was like, what happened? I said, this girl got hair. They was like, you didn't know that? I was like, no, I ain't been home. I ain't giving her no bath. So now that my daughter's there, so my point is this, from the time the little girl come out the womb, the first person that grabs that baby, if you think about it, if the dad is in the life, is the dad.
Yeah.
male or female, the first person they hand the baby to when